All right, let's get right into it. What we're talking about today, it's not just another crypto app. No, we're going to unpack a system that wants to be the actual operating system for all of DeFi trading. And it all starts by tackling these problems that, let's be honest, every single one of us who trades has run into. Think about it. You want to make a trade. Forget opening 5 different exchange tabs just to hunt for the best price. And forget constantly switching your wallet between Ethereum and Solana and Arbitrum, trying to remember where you even put your assets. And no more hunting around for liquidity. Enough assets in a pool to actually handle your order without getting slammed by slippage, which is that super frustrating price change that happens right when your trade goes through. And you definitely don't have to sign like 20 different transactions just to pull off one single complex strategy. The idea here, it all happens in one place. So that brings us right to our first section, the absolute chaos of today's trading. I mean, the way we trade right now, it's a total jungle of disconnected apps, different networks, and clashing protocols. And this quote right here, it just hits the nail on the head. The biggest problem in DeFi, it isn't a lack of liquidity, it's not that there's no money or opportunity, it's fragmentation. It's the fact that everything is scattered everywhere. Your liquidity's in one spot, the token you want is on another network, and the best price is on a third protocol. That fragmentation, it just creates massive inefficiency for traders. Okay, so if fragmentation is the disease, what's the cure? Well, that's what Section 2 is all about. It introduces the proposed solution, the terminal, a single unified layer that's designed to bring order to all of that chaos. So let's be super clear about what we mean by an execution terminal. This is not just another exchange. Think of it more like an intelligent window that looks out over the entire crypto market. We're talking every chain, every single DEX, every liquidity pool, and it lets you interact with all of it from one command center. And this comparison here really breaks it down. Look, on the right, you've got what it's not. It's not some centralized fortress like Binance that holds all your assets. It's not a single isolated island like Uniswap. And it's not just some simple automated bot. No, what it is, as you see on the left, is that central hub, the layer that connects everything else together. Okay, so how does a system like this actually work? What's under the hood? That brings us to Section 3, moving from just using apps to operating on infrastructure. Basically, it all boils down to these 3 key jobs. First up, you've got liquidity aggregation. That means it scans all the connected exchanges to find you the absolute best price. Second, it's truly multi-chain, which means it handles all that complicated network switching in the background so you don't even have to think about it. And third, smart execution. It automatically finds the most efficient path for your trade, even if that means smartly splitting it up across different places. This slide really gets to the core of the whole shift in thinking. On the left, that's the world today, right? It's you, the user, jumping between all these fragmented apps, just lost in a storm of complexity. But on the right, that's the promise of this new model, a unified layer where all that messy stuff just disappears. It's like the difference between a cluttered, chaotic desktop and a clean, powerful operating system. And this quote here, man, this really gets to the heart of the vision. The goal isn't to try and compete with Uniswap or some other protocol. Not at all. The goal is to become the layer above them all, the one you use to access all of them, so that the protocols underneath just feel like invisible plumbing that you don't even need to see. But whenever you concentrate this much power in one place, you've got to talk about the risks. And that brings us to Section 4, the power and the risk. Because when one system is responsible for routing this much activity, we have to start asking some tough questions. So the first and most obvious question has to be this. If the terminal is deciding the best route for your trade, who or what gets to define best? Is it just about price, or are there other factors? And who's in charge of that algorithm? And what about when there's a conflict? Like, what happens if 2 different routes offer really similar outcomes? Does the system have its own biases? How does it decide? Suddenly, the logic that governs how your trade gets executed becomes this massive point of trust. Which, of course, leads to the biggest question of all. Even if the system is built on top of decentralized protocols, could this aggregation layer itself become a new indirect point of control? A single gatekeeper watching over the entire market? When you put it all together, there are some major hurdles. Adoption is a huge one. Without real traders and real volume, the whole system is basically useless. Then you've got competition. The race to build DeFi infrastructure is absolutely fierce. There's also the centralization risk we just talked about. The aggregator itself could become a single point of failure. And finally, dependency. The whole thing relies on the health of all these other external protocols. If they have problems, it has problems. All right, so let's put it all together. What does the future of trading actually look like if this model takes hold? Let's explore a few potential outcomes. So you can see there are pretty much three ways this could play out. In the best case, the green scenario, this thing becomes the standard way we all trade in DeFi, the absolute go-to execution layer. Then there's the medium, or yellow outcome, where it just remains a powerful tool, but really only for advanced professional traders. And of course, there's the negative scenario, the red one, where the market just doesn't buy in and we all stick with the fragmented system we have today. And that really leaves us with the big final question, doesn't it? As DeFi grows up, is its future going to be scattered across thousands of different apps? Or will it be unified in a single intelligent system? Honestly, the answer to that question is probably going to define the entire next era of digital markets.